Hey guys, it's Sam Roberts. And you know, Sam Roberts now has been controlling loneliness across the internet for a long time. But starting now, you can be lonely longer. It's great news. Sam Roberts now goes live at 6 p.m. Eastern over at youtube.com/notsam. Join us earlier to get a lonelier start on the evening. Of course, every episode of Sam Roberts Now goes up at youtube.com/notsam. You can hit the channel anytime you want to watch the shows. But if you want to join us live, if you want to be there with me and with Hot Dog and watching videos and breaking things down and people embarrassing themselves, mainly us, it's the internet's loneliest talk show. youtube.com/notsam. Sam Roberts Now, 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, everybody. Welcome to Sam Roberts Now. Hope everybody's doing good. Again, down here tinkering with things, so we're hopeful that everything goes off without a hitch tonight. I was reading the comments again. I always read your comments, and some of them are not very helpful. Some of them are not very fruitful, but some of them are very helpful. There were a few complaints about audio being out of sync or not in the right channels. Hopefully, we've taken care of it. It looks like we have. I'm looking at our meters as we go. So hopefully, any audio problem that anybody was have listening specifically on headphones to the loneliest show across the internet, Sam Roberts Now, has been solved. We welcome back to, by the way, if you want to keep being helpful, keep leaving those comments. If you're watching live, leave your comments via Super Chat, and we will acknowledge every Super Chat that comes in at some point tonight on this lonely Friday night. Sam Roberts Now, and of course, what would be a lonely Friday without the audacious Hot Dog, who is indeed, you're masked up, huh?
Masked up, trying to do my civic responsibility as a positive case.
They gotcha. We've been doing Sam Roberts Now, monitoring the coronavirus for the entire pandemic. It's been 6 years, I believe, since the pandemic started. And finally, the vid got you, huh? Hot Dog? You're going to go ahead. As long as it's on your chin, I think it's still fine.
It's still, it's touching his skin. So
okay, so that still absolutely counts.
Yeah. They got your boy. They got your boy after all the traveling and all the packed shows and all the restaurants and all the bars. They got me.
Oh, thank God that you popped positive on Thursday. Thank God not only that you're positive, but thank God that it happened on Thursday. Because if it had happened on like Tuesday, I would have been paranoid that you got it at the wrestling show that we went to. But since it wasn't until Thursday, we're good.
No, who's to say I didn't? I mean, I wasn't showing symptoms, but what is that? 4 days?
You got symptoms, but you got enough symptoms that you tested.
Yeah, but it takes a couple days for you to. I'm just saying.
I'm saying that I got no symptoms. I was sitting next to you. You snuck a burrito in for me. I feel like, we came as close to licking each other as possible without licking each other. Yeah,
your ass should be on lockdown, Sam. That's what I think.
Oh, I already did that once for one idiot that I do a show with. I'm not doing it for another idiot I do a show with. That's not happening again, unless I actually get it. I know I'm fine. I don't think. I think luckily also I'm not too worried because you live recklessly. So I'm sure that beyond the wrestling show that we went to, you lived recklessly in the days after it.
I mean, I went to the cellar with Jim. That was unfortunate.
Tell me the truth. You had to cancel a dinner plan, yes?
I did last night.
Indoor dinner plan?
Very indoor.
And how many people?
Table of 14.
Okay, come on. That's reckless. That's reckless. That's insane. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Well, it was 14, and then we tried to pack up a couple people, so it technically had 2 tables. So we had like 17 guests.
About 17. Okay, so they had to go without you, huh?
Yeah,
I love that, by the way. They went without you. Hot Dog has corona, and we want to be safe about this 17-person dinner. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Congrats, guys. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy your meal. But you're feeling okay. You got your symptoms are not too severe?
No, I mean, I thought I had a fever coming in, but that could have just been a mental thing. I feel fine now. I have a little neck ache.
Okay.
It's fine.
Little ache.
Not too shabby.
Are you taking the vitamin D and any supplements or anything like that to try to fight the virus? Any antibiotics maybe?
Ivermectin. It's been working pretty good.
And by the way, I'm sure you're very tranquil. All the horses are.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard to get nowadays.
Yeah. So you are. And have you found that you've been dewormed as well?
Yeah, it's good for a lot of things.
Perfect. All right. It's kind of a catch-all. Well, good,
Yeah.
Hot Dog. I'm glad that things aren't too bad, but you are going to be locked up, right? You're going to be shut down in your room in your apartment because you got roommates, which means you can't even really go into the common area. So you're locked down.
Well, two out of three of us are positive.
Right now at the same time?
Two.
Okay, well,
And
I mean,
then
dude, I'd be reasonable. The third one then has to go get a hotel. Like, you guys should have free range of the apartment. That's not right.
Right.
That's,
It's majority rule, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yes. It's like when like if you have herpes but your partner has herpes, it's not even a thing to talk about. It's like, who cares? It's like, what are we going to worry about this?
So the third guy who works, out, he doesn't work from home. He comes back around 5, but before 5 o'clock, it's like regular.
COVID
We're just
Central.
walking around.
Grand COVID
Yeah.
Central.
Yeah. Walking around maskless, just cooking, just chit chatting it's fine.
So but you are gonna be locked at least in the apartment for like 5 to 10 days, right?
Till Tuesday.
Unless
The date I was given.
till Tuesday. But if you have symptoms on Tuesday, you got to keep it rolling, I think, right?
Yeah, that's what they told me.
But you don't have symptoms now, so unless they get real bad this weekend. But you can't have a litty weekend though.
No.
No.
I'll be locked up in here, but that just means I got to go twice as hard next weekend.
Yeah, you do, in the paint, especially because you'll have all the antibodies,
All fresh.
all of them.
Fresh out the joint.
No, you'll be like Tupac in the California Love video. Just throw
Yeah.
out on bail, fresh out of jail. Yeah, it'll be great. Look,
It was great. It's funny because they call you. I got the results online. I saw the positive, and I go, oh boy, this is embarrassing. I gotta text Sam and Travis, and I gotta text Jim and all this stuff.
but I love that you really only have to text me and Travis because we'd like to know to like make fun of you.
Right? Yeah.
Like, we're not in any
Not
danger. Like, you don't
I
have
haven't
to.
seen Travis. Right.
No, and you saw me on Sunday. Like, that was a week ago almost. Like, that's not a thing.
No, I was like, I gotta tell the guys. So they sent me that. Then they called me. They called me yesterday. They called me today. They just wanted a trace, do like a little trace and see who I've been in contact with. And so then
Did you
I was
just
like,
text him back? Like, everyone's got it, right? Like, it's.
yeah. Like,
I mean,
what are we doing here?
Yeah. At this point.
Yeah.
Well, look, can I give you some recommendation then?
Sure.
There is a show that I've been meaning to talk about on Netflix that I absolutely love, and it is perfect for if you're locked down. This is a show that under some circumstances I would have trouble getting through, but when you allow it your full attention, I found it to be very, very rewarding. It's called Archive 81. It's executive produced anyway, by James Wan, who's like the
Saw.
Yeah, I mean, quintessential horror director at this point. He's revolutionized the genre at least twice you can't even argue that he did Saw and then he did The Conjuring. Like, he did Saw and then all horror movies look like Saw. So then he did The Conjuring and then all horror movies look like The Conjuring. He's just the man. And then also, like, he did one of the Fast and the Furious movies. He's just the man. He's the man all around. And his status as the man continues as the executive producer of Archive 81. Now, at first here, I'm not going to do spoilers. So if you want to see the show, let me at least tell you about the show, okay? I'll warn you before I do any spoilers. If I do any spoilers in this video, I don't know. So basically, the premise, it's like an 8-episode series. Each episode is an hour long. Again, it's like there's a lot of stuff happening, and it's one of those shows that is full of loose ends that you're waiting to get tied up. And so you can't afford to not pay attention to things. On some, like in like real simple shows, you could tell at the beginning of a scene, this scene doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to pay attention. I can, as long as I get the broad strokes, I'll be fine.
I can go to the kitchen and not hit pause.
Exactly. Like, let me go piss real quick. I know that Rue's going to be okay. But in this one, it's one of those where you're not going to know until the end. So you kind of have to pay attention to everything, because otherwise it'll be like episode 4 and there'll be a reveal from episode 2. And you'll be like, oh, shit, that's when I was on my phone. Like, that means nothing to me. That should be a big, whoa moment. So that's what, like, for me, so that's why it's a good show. Like, Hot Dog, you're sick. If you're locked in a room for 3-4 days and you want to just sit there and, like, be engulfed in something, I feel like this is perfect. I think that for me, the reason that I love this show so much is because I was on an airplane when I was watching most of it. So it was one of those things that kind of, like, took over my life for the hours that I was watching it, because I was stuck in this tube in the air. And once you, like, fully give it all your senses like that, it really is rewarding. What it is it's this guy. It takes place in 2022, current day, 2022. And it's this guy, lives in New York City, and his job is that he's an archivist. He's a very good archivist. He basically digitizes film and tape. So already, like, I'm interested, because I love, like, VHS. There's just something about magnetic tape. There's something creepy about the way, like, digital, you're never going to find, like, an alien accidentally sucked into a digital video. But, like, I don't know. There's something about magnetic tape, like, sucking in data that you're like, what is on this tape? Maybe I just romanticize VHS too much and I'm a weirdo, but there's
an old head.
Yeah, I'm an old head. Yeah, but that's creepier, right? Like, it's way creepier to look at a painting from the 1800s than it is to look at, like, a Bored Ape NFT. Like, there's no way, when you look at a Bored Ape NFT, you're not sitting there going, like, oh man, there's so much in here, like the textures and the richness. Like, you're not thinking about the context of the fact that this is from so long ago. But I don't know, when you're looking at that old stuff, well, I digress. So this is what this guy does. He digitizes, and he fixes it too. Like, if it's a damaged VHS tape or a damaged audio cassette tape, like, he knows how to fix it, put it into a new cassette. He's got all the decks that are plugged into the computers, and he digitizes things for people. And he gets this offer from this mysterious rich billionaire guy who's, like, the head of a company. And he doesn't know him, but for some reason the rich dude knows this archivist. And he goes, like, I have a job for you, and you are the guy for it. I'm not just looking for any archivist. I'm looking for you, and I know that you're the guy to do this. It's going to be very, very stressful. It's going to be very, very different, but it's going to pay $100,000. And he's like, when you're living in the city, digitizing tapes, $100,000 is $100,000, So he's like, yeah, say less. And so he goes, okay, but in order to do this job, I've got these tapes. And they're from 1994. And I found them in a fire. There was a fire in a building. And I was able to recover these tapes, but they're all, like, melted and shitty. And, like, you can't do anything with them unless a man of your talent can fix them. He's like, yeah, hell yeah, I can fix them. He goes, okay.
I'm a man of my talent.
Right. He is a man of his talent. And so he goes to this house. The house is in Westchester. And they make Westchester, New York seem like very, very, like, isolated. Like, you could just have a house in a forest with, like, just nothing for miles around you. He's like,
that's how I see it.
Yeah. Like, you've been here. And it's like he goes to a house in Westchester, and the guy who's there is like, you're not locked here. There's a bicycle right there. The nearest town is 14 miles that way. And I'm like, where in Westchester is it, like, 14 miles between buildings? Like, it's still New York. It's not even upstate. It's 20 minutes outside the city. But
it's right next to the Bronx.
Yeah, it's literally on the border of the Bronx. He's like, this is Pelham. It's a very secluded, foresty area. Yonkers, New York. Ooh, anything could happen in Yonkers. So that's what DMX always said. God rest his soul. So he goes to this mysterious house, and there's, like, there's this shelf full of camcorder tapes, like Super 8 camcorder tapes. And what he's going through are the tapes of this documentarian. Well, she wanted to be a documentarian. Let's be honest. She didn't exactly have a film crew with her. She was using a handheld camcorder. But she was going around and videoing and talking to people in this building that she had moved into, because she wanted to find her birth mother. She was adopted. She wanted to find her birth mother. And he starts archiving these tapes, and what happens is the show splits, and we get this double narrative where we're following around this character, and we kind of get the backstory and a little bit of his life in the beginning, so we kind of are connected to him. And then we see what he's going through in this isolated house out there in the forests of Westchester. At the same time, we're following the story that he's watching on the tapes that he's digitizing. Now, God bless, somehow, when the guy got the tapes out of the fire, he was able to put them in chronological order. So the guy put the tapes in the order that told us a great narrative. I mean, God bless, because it did make the show much, much better. But what we end up with is we watch her story as we're seeing his story, as he is also learning her story. And it starts to get real creepy. There starts to get, everything is in this show. You start to get elements of the occult. You start to get elements of like demons. You start to get elements of like aliens and time travel, and it just turns into this like, what the fuck is going on here? There's this weird landscaper Willie. There's this weird like landscaper, this lady that's wandering around on the premise, and she just like pops up in weird spots, and there's this one area in the forest where he can call his friend who does a mystery podcast, and he's like, oh my God, I just saw this weird thing on this tape. You got to look this up. And then the friend looks it up, and there's something else like, oh, that's fucking odd. And so it adds to the story that way. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. And every episode, it just picks up and up and up and up. Like, I will say this, episode 7, no spoilers still. Episode 7, probably not necessary. They do a little time travel in that is like, like the show itself, not the characters. Like the show jumps into another timeline, which, I think you probably could have done it without that episode. But it does lend to context to the whole series. But you really do fall into it. And the reason that I'm not giving any spoilers right now is because I do feel like it's one of those shows that's going to have a slow build on Netflix. It's not like a Squid Games where it's like, okay, Squid Games is out this week. We're talking about it next week. Everybody's seeing it. It's spoilers. I feel like this one's going to have a real slow build. But, I think if you're into that stuff, if you're into anything like that, horror stuff, sci-fi stuff, time travel stuff, and
cult. I'm into the cult stuff.
Occult stuff. And not cult, occult. I mean, kind of cult, but not like Jim Jones.
What's the
cult.
difference?
A cult is more demonology, Satanism, witchcraft, that kind of thing.
Like Rosemary's Baby?
Yeah, that's the occult. A cult, I mean, it's usually based around Jesus. Like a cult would be like Jim Jones in Jonestown, or like David Koresh and the Branch Davidians and stuff like that. That's a cult that actually sees the person leading them sometimes as the second coming of Jesus. The occult thinks that they've tapped into the other side of things, the satanic demon side of things, and that's even more powerful than whatever this power of good is over the fucking cucks that are going to church. That's usually where the occult.
Those losers in their regular occults.
Yeah. I think when the occult talks about cults, it's like Republicans talking about Democrats or vice versa. Like they're like,
you believe these assholes?
What a bunch of idiots, huh? What are the Democrats over here? What a bunch of yeah. They see like cults as like lamestream, and like the occult, they're red pilled. They figured it out. They're good to go. So
you believe everything Jim Jones tells you?
Exactly, because let me tell you about a little man named Lucifer. Okay, yeah. So that's enough information to get you started. I've given you all that, and I there's no real spoilers there. That's kind of how the plot takes over. But from there, and it's beautiful. It has an ending where it does wrap things up, but you're rocking and rolling with what's happening next. I gotta know. I gotta know what happens after season 1. Kind of like the way Squid Games did. Like after Squid Games, you were like, okay, that was an ending. But realistically, the story is going to continue. Let me get that season 2 right quick. Same type of thing going on here. And look, am I going to sit here and tell you that you're going to give me a show that has one narrative that's happening current day and another narrative that's happening in 1994? And I'm going to sit here and tell you I'm not into a show like that? Because I'm into a show like that. Because let me tell you something. I love My So-Called Life. And that show takes place in 1994. And it was current day. So if you can tell me we can have both, I can have my cake and eat it too. I can get a show that is technically relevant and takes place in 2022, but I can be over here celebrating 1994 like a madman. I'm going to take you up on that offer. And I took him up on that offer with Archive 81, and I was real glad I did.
Okay.
It's great. The actor's good in it. It's like there's a lot on the actor's shoulder, the archivist himself. There's a lot on his shoulders because, you know, any show that takes place, even if it's only part of it, in an isolated house cabin somewhere in the woods, it's an actor in a house now, right? Like, it's like, you got to do all this. And he does a great job. Of course, you know, we keep going. These are all the things that are at play here. We got the goofy best friend who's a podcaster trying to figure out his deal. We got the archivist trying to figure out his deal. Don't forget, we got the 1994 lady trying to figure out everything that's going on in her world, which is fucking wild. And then you got the billionaire. Don't forget about the billionaire. Because Hot Dog, I haven't told you, you're probably sitting there going like, hey, by the way, why was this billionaire so insistent on hiring this guy to archive all that tape? And why did he have to do it in a house in Westchester where the nearest 7-Eleven is 14 miles away? Well, I would tell you that, but then I'd fear that you wouldn't watch the show.
Gotta tune in.
Exactly. So if you are, maybe you want to bunker down if you're on the East Coast here for the Nor'easter this weekend. Maybe you got the vid. Maybe you're on a flight. Maybe whatever reason you have, maybe you just live alone. You live that beautiful, wonderful, lonely lifestyle. But if you can lock yourself in, I don't want to hear it from anybody that like, oh yeah, I was watching a couple shows at once, or like, yeah, I watched 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, or like, yeah, no, I was like, I was playing PUBG on my phone while I was watching this show. Like, I don't want to hear it. You can't watch this that way. If you're not prepared to make the investment, don't make the investment. But if
Hunker down.
That's it. You have to. That's the only way to watch for me. That's the only way that I will accept a conversation about the show. And you got to give into it, right? Like I said, it's slow moving at first because you want the answers right away, and they're not going to give them to you. You know, they're going to play with it a little bit. You want to hook up on that first date, and all they're going to do is play with it, you know? And you're like, when am I going to get to? You'll get to. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It's coming.
It's coming. But not yet. And you're like, ah! Ah! So
making my nice little quarantine stream for the weekend.
That could. It's a great quarantine stream. It's good. It's a real good quarantine stream. So, does that sound like something you'd be into?
You sold me on the two. I like a nice 2-era narrative. And cults. Occults.
It's a 2-era narrative, and then you start going, how are the narratives
intertwined?
How are they gonna cross? How do they cross? And let me tell you something. They cross like a DX crotch chop. Suck it. They cross. They cross.
DX timeline.
Oh yeah. So hopefully you enjoy it, Hot Dog. I really hope you do.
Alrighty.
You know, we do have to talk about some celebrity beefs because there's a lot of celebrity beefs, and I'm loving the amount of celebrity beefs in the news right now. But before we do, I think there's something that a lot of people want me to tell them about, and that is, of course, the perfect Valentine's Day gift. I'm sure you've noticed it, Hot Dog. I saw you looking. Look at this. Beautiful. Ooh, red gold dipped rose. And you're probably looking at me right now going, Sam, why would you smell a gold dipped rose? That's not even a real rose. Yes, it is a real rose. That's what you don't understand. You go, oh, okay, Sam, well, I guess if it's a real rose, it's just going to wilt away and die. No, it will not wilt away and die. It will last forever. And the reason it's still got a scent is because Steven Singer not only offers the gold-dipped rose, not only offers the gold-dipped rose stand, which, by the way, I don't know if you knew this, Hot Dog, you can get stands that hold one gold-dipped rose, Or you see how I was a little nervous when I put it in because I didn't want to look like an asshole for Steven Singer and have it fall out. Or you can get a stand that holds multiple gold-dipped roses so you can get one for your love every single year. Up to you. But the reason I was smelling it, because you may not know this, they also come with a scent. They come with a scent in the box, real rose scent, so that when you open it up on Valentine's Day, it's like a bouquet of roses, except shiny, shiny gold, and it's a gift that'll last forever, just like your love. This is why, Hot Dog, this is why people hate Steven Singer, specifically jewelers. They cannot compete. I'm sure you've heard about it. I'm sure maybe you've been driving through Philly and you saw the billboards that said, I hate Steven Singer. Maybe you heard it on the radio, I hate Steven Singer. You heard me and Jim talk about it. You've heard me talk about it on the wrestling podcast. Wherever you've heard it, if you're wondering why people hate Steven Singer, this is why. It's literally perfect, and it can be yours for only $59. Yes, $59 for this gold-dipped rose. It's something that your wife will put right there in the bedroom, and every morning she'll wake up, she'll look at that rose and go like, oh yeah, that's right. I have somebody that will love me for the rest of my life. It's true. That's the way my wife operates. Why do you think I got 2 kids? 2 gold-dipped roses. And you can do the same thing for only $59 with free shipping. That's right. These roses will come with your own personalized love note in Steven's signature gift box, shipped for free, starting at just $59. Go now to IHateStevenSinger.com, or you can visit his showroom at the other corner of 8th and Walnut in Philly to see what I'm talking about. Real roses from a real jeweler for your real love. Steven Singer Jewelers, that's IHateStevenSinger.com. Who's better than Steven Singer? Absolutely no one. Really
I
is.
think I'll buy one for my loved one.
You
on
should.
Valentine's Day.
You should.
You gotta find one.
That's right. Get the rose, have it on ice, and give it to your loved one. It'll work, whoever your loved one is. But I'll tell you where there's no love. That's in Hollywood. These celebrities. Woo! Everyone is beefing. And they are beefing for real. Let's talk about this beef first, Hot Dog. This is my favorite beef of all. Neil Young versus Joe Rogan. Neil Young put his foot down this week. We talked about it on Jim and Sam on SiriusXM. He put his foot down and he said, Spotify, if you keep your deal going with that fountain of misinformation, somebody who might as well be a murderer, I'm paraphrasing, I don't know if he actually said that, Joe Rogan, then let me tell you something. You could take my music off. That's right, Spotify. It's either him or me. Now look, and he keeps saying, by the way, this is the author of the song Keep On Rockin' in the Free World. Now, and by my favorite part of this whole story is that I think last night at a comedy show, Rogan left the stage to keep on rocking it in the free world. That's what I heard. I wasn't there, obviously, but I did read that online.
Awesome.
Yeah, I hope so. Because I'm not one of these, I don't necessarily look at what private companies do as a reflection of free speech. You know, I'm more like, I kind of buy into the private company, their own rules, blah, blah, blah. But if you do believe in artistic expression and that companies should not stifle artistic expression, which most artists should, because they wouldn't want their expression stifled, then the idea that not only do you disagree with somebody, but they must be silenced, it doesn't feel like the most artistic way to live your life. Because that's the difference, right? To me, there's a big difference between Neil Young showing up and saying, well, I'm not going to be on Spotify anymore because I don't like that Joe Rogan's show is on. If he says that, I go, that's kind of a dopey thing to do, Neil, but
It's a form of protest.
yeah, God bless you. You're welcome to do it. The difference is when he throws out the ultimatum. When he says it's either him or me, that's when I'm like, all right, Neil. Like, first of all, jump off your soapbox. I don't know if you know this, but there's not that much of your demo that is specifically alive. You said that's wrong. That is specifically subscribing to Spotify for you. Like, it was one of those where it's like, I love an ultimatum gone wrong. There's nothing better. Like, to watch somebody go like over a person overvaluing themselves, and within hours having it displayed to them that, yes, indeed, you very much overvalued yourself. It's just a beautiful moment for me to witness. I love it when it happens. And that's what happened here. Neil Young overvalued himself. He set up the ultimatum. Spotify is like, we're paying Joe Rogan $100 million. If this company is paying the podcaster $100 million, then he has to have a value to them that is greater than $100 million. That's what people, like, it's not like what's Joe Rogan worth to Spotify? According to Spotify, over $100 million. Even if it was just $100 million, they didn't buy Joe Rogan to break even. You know, that wouldn't make any sense. Like, we'll pay $100 million, but we'll get it back. Well, why don't we just not pay it then? Oh, okay, that's what we'll do. No, it would have to be, at the minimum, Joe Rogan is worth to Spotify, according to Spotify, $100,000,001 at minimum, at least.
It's an investment.
Yes. And I can't imagine that Neil Young, his whole catalog by himself, is making for Spotify $100,000,002. I can't imagine that that's happening. And I would have hoped that somebody would have told Neil Young, like, look, I get it. You don't like the podcast. You don't like what he's saying. Neil Young is a high risk for COVID. Neil Young does not want to get COVID. Like, Hot Dog, you're being all lackadaisical about it because you don't realize you're getting older yourself. But Neil Young is aware that he's not a young man. If he gets COVID, it's a scary thing. If you get COVID, you're chilling with your roommates, whatever. You're making a big joke about it, but not Neil Young.
I'm built different.
You're younger. I mean, decades younger.
And built different.
But yeah, so I guess I'll tell you what was smart. When Spotify goes like, yeah, I mean, we're going to go with Rogan. Obviously. Like,
easy.
Yeah, we're definitely going with Rogan. Like, Neil, we'll take your stuff off if you want, but like, we're clearly going to go with Rogan. It wasn't even a hands-on, like, all hands meeting or anything like that. It was just a. Oh, can you imagine the Spotify staffers that hated Joe Rogan before? They're all pretending they're Neil Young fans, by the way, now. Do you know how many people are trying to get like the moral credit by saying that they're Neil Young fans today?
Stand with Neil.
Do you know how many people are getting that nice virtue? They're getting that virtue flung their way by being like, can you believe this? And politics aside, Neil Young is one of the great American treasures of music. And I'm like, I've never heard you listen to a Neil Young song in your goddamn life. I've never heard it happen. Yes, I have.
Front ahead. Name 3 tracks.
3. And they're like, well, you said Keep on Rocking in the Free World. I'll even give you the one I already said. Just give me 2 more.
Born in the USA? No.
Yeah. Sweet Caroline? No. Sorry. He was Eric Clapton, right? No, he was not Eric Clapton. He was Neil Young. So, yeah.
I'll do anything for love.
God rest, R.I.P. Yeah, no, sorry. Not only that, but the guy who's saying I'll do anything for love probably listened to Rogan like every day. But yeah, so Neil Young lost out.
It's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing, but it's also, but there was no other way to go. Not only was there no other way to go, I mean, he deserved it. Like, what are you doing, Neil? What are you doing? Trying to get...
Very emotional.
I mean, but remember when it was like politicians were the enemy? Because it's like Tipper Gore was like, these kids shouldn't listen to curses. And then the musicians were like, screw you, we're going to sing our songs about drugs and stuff.
We're not gonna take it.
Well, I don't know that Neil Young was in Twisted Sister, but yeah, no, I get the spirit behind it. Yeah. Yeah. But now it's like the musicians are like telling the comedians or the podcasters to be like, hey, This is not good what you're doing. You should be helping, not hurting. It's like, what? How did we get here? How did all this happen? Remember when like shock jocks were just like, oh, we got to get this guy off the air. He talks about titties too much. He keeps talking about titties. We got to get him off the air. And now it's like, well, he's killing people because people go to him for their medical advice. And you're like, look, I mean,
gotta go. Gotta go.
I've said this after other Rogan controversies, but can't we have higher expectations for people that we won't punish Joe Rogan because there are people that think he's like a doctor? Like, I've listened to Joe Rogan and he said stuff that I agree with and stuff that I disagree with. Some of the stuff he said, I'm like, what the fuck would you even say that? That's a crazy thing to say. But he also, like, he talks for like 4 hours 3 times a week. He just says all this shit. But that's the thing that I remember. He just says all this shit all the time. That's what he does. That's what his show has always been. I mean,
forget this. The new controversy is the black people comment. Now.
I saw that. That was some, like, that's what I mean. It is a dumbass thing that he said. Like, Joe, you know how bad, like when you heard him say it, like, I think he was trying to find a joke in there somewhere and it just never quite landed. But like, bro, you got 11 million people listening and probably at least half of them are only listening for the clips. They want your head. Like, that's why they listen to the show. They want your
every
head.
Staffer and every news organization.
He's like, yeah, when they start talking about like black and white as if it's actually describing the color of your skin. I mean, there were people going, oh my God, is he going to say, yes, he said it. Yes.
Mark that.
Yeah. Oh, they had him and they knew they had him. The dumbest thing. It was such a stupid thing to say, but at the same time, like, it was a thing that a stupid podcaster guy would say. You know, like, I don't know why. When you get an audience, like when your audience, I don't know what the number of your audience is. Like, how big does my audience have to be to the point where I will now have the responsibility where I have to be a professor? Like, I thought you were just some goofy idiot who talks about wrestling and shills gold roses. No, you got 11 million people. You better be a goddamn valedictorian. And I'm like, I didn't.
What are your credentials?
I know. What? I got here because people were just listening to the show. Like, that's why Rogan's in the position that he's in, because people were just listening to the show. He would turn on a live stream, he would talk shit, and people would listen. So it's like more people started listening, and now it's like, you should change what you do. And then it's like, but that's why people are listening, because of what I was doing. If I changed what I do, then the people who are listening because I do what I do would stop listening. And then you wouldn't be like, oh, that's, you should start saying bad stuff again. You'd be like, oh, I don't know. I changed the show. It sucks now. What? That doesn't help. I mean, it's so.
I love the Joe Rogan ecosystem.
It's such a weird thing. I mean, it is true, dude. When you publicly announce, or it is publicly announced, that you're in that other area of wealth, that like you're making more than people on TV make, you're making more than movie stars make, people come for your neck. You saw it happen to Patty McAfee. You saw it happen to my boy Pat McAfee. The minute he's like, good news, FanDuel is paying me $120 million. They were like, oh, really? Because that motherfucker on your show has COVID toe and you need to get off the air. It's like, he's just doing the same show he's always been doing. This is the show. It's not even like, it used to be when it was on the radio or it was on television. It would be like FCC. It would be government. It would be because, well, it's over the airwaves, so you can't avoid it. The way, like, you can't put a big curse word on a billboard, right? Because if a parent is sitting there with their children and doesn't want to expose their children to curse words, well, now you've made that impossible. That's not, you can't do that.
Stay in the house.
That's not a thing. You can't, yeah, don't go outside then. But, like, you have to really Joe Rogan's podcast is harder to find than it's ever been. Like, people are annoyed. I mean, that used to be
because I've been fucking bombarded with all those videos everywhere.
What did I tell you about memes? What did I tell you about memes? How many people have seen a Joe Rogan meme versus actually listened to his show? It's just memes.
I doubt any of my colleagues have listened to a full episode of Joe Rogan.
And have they seen the clips?
Oh, yeah, they have.
And do they have a strong opinion on him?
It's not a mild one. It's not a mild opinion.
You see? Did you hear what he said? With that guy? Did you hear what he said with that guy in the tuxedo? Let me play you the clip. That's it. That's it. Just the clip. But
I can't even be like, you listen to Joe Rogan? I have to be like this. You listen to Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Here's what you got to. No, here's what you got to do. I heard on a podcast that, and you just like say this thing out, and then you hope somebody else goes, "Oh, did you hear that on Rogan?" And then it's like, "Okay, I gotcha. Now me and you." It's a secret club that everyone's in.
Yeah.
It's the secret club of the most popular podcast. But no, you know what I mean? Like, it's real easy to just not go on Spotify, and then you wouldn't hear the show. But instead, they're like, "This person has too much influence. Let me put a spotlight on him." You're like, wait, what? What's your plan? Too many people are talking about him. Let's talk about him. Wait, huh?
Let's discuss.
What's your goal here? No.
Yeah, well, I mean, did you hear? It's a profitable system. I almost feel like jumping on the Rogan hate train.
Just cause, right? Just like,
yeah.
Just cause. Did you hear what Neil Young said today in his blog?
What?
He didn't like Spotify anyway. He said, if you support Spotify, you're destroying an art form. And I went, destroying an art form? Because I kind of felt like destroying an art form was going out there and saying, this person shouldn't be allowed to say this thing on a podcast. That feels more like, but he goes, you're destroying an art form. So I was like, I got to read this blog. Let me see. Again, by the way, this is foolish me. The headline was enough, right? Why go to the blog? Why do I need context for that? I got the clip. What do I need? But I decided to find the context. I said, how am I destroying an art form? So I went on, and it said, he said that the sound quality that Spotify has on their songs sucks. And it's been sucking. He said Spotify does terrible things to the sound quality of the music files. It doesn't sound good on Spotify, but good news, hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
Apple Music, everywhere else, sounds much better.
Everywhere else that doesn't have Joe Rogan.
Yeah. If it doesn't have Joe Rogan, the sound quality is tremendous. It's great.
Now, do you think he would have came out with this information had Spotify chosen him over Joe Rogan?
He did not release the information until Spotify had clearly said, well, if it's one or the other, it's Joe. That is when Neil Young decided to announce that I didn't want to be there anyway because the sound quality sucks. Which is, yeah, it was a weird time. It was certainly weird timing. Yeah. Apparently they.
So Sam, what are you gonna do? I know your podcast is on Spotify.
Yeah. You mean Notsam Wrestling?
Yeah.
That's okay. So this is my favorite part, right? There were rumors about artists following Neil Young. Okay. Barry Manilow was trending. You know Barry Manilow? Barry Manilow was trending on Twitter because for some reason Twitter thought that Barry Manilow was following Neil Young. Let me tell you what's even more absurd than Neil Young thinking that he's more valuable to Spotify than Joe Rogan. Barry Manilow thinking he's more valuable to Spotify than Joe Rogan. However, hot dog, don't worry about it. Barry Manilow took to Twitter and he goes, I've seen people report that I'm taking my music off Spotify. I have no idea where this information came from. Did not come from me. So he will not be leaving Spotify. No.
Copacabana stays?
Copacabana stays.
Woo!
Her name was Lola. Yeah.
Great audio quality too on that one.
Perfect audio quality. And it is the official theme song of the alt-right now. Copacabana, yes. It is official. Peter Frampton. You know, Peter Frampton. Peter Frampton, he tweeted, "Good for you, Neil. # support Neil Young," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Frampton's music, currently available on Spotify. Still on Spotify. Yes. So yeah,
Good for you. Are you joining? No.
I got one question. Who's coming with me? No one. Yeah. Notsam Wrestling available on Spotify. Correct. Currently and Monday. However, there won't be a new episode until Monday after the Royal Rumble. You will be able to listen on Spotify. Yes, you will. Yes, you will be able to listen on Spotify. As a matter of fact, go ahead and leave me a rating on Spotify. Like, definitely going to be on Spotify.
I don't have any content there, but I was willing to delete my playlist from Spotify.
Well, let me ask you this: if I moved Sam Roberts Now over to Spotify, you coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I would think so. I would feel like that's the move. Yeah. So, I'll tell you what was genius though. What I have to respect, because I'm not getting to get involved in this politically is a fool's errand. I just love observing, and you know what I love? Literally the morning after it was announced that Neil Young is not going to be on Spotify, SiriusXM announces the return of Neil Young Radio. Come and listen to all the Neil Young you want on SiriusXM. I mean, they can't get Rogan. They might as well get Neil Young, right?
You got to cash in on that, baby.
I mean, like, where are we going to get points from, right? Like, what? Like, it doesn't make any sense for Sirius to go the other way. What are they going to do? Be like, yeah, we're banning him too. Like, what? That does nothing. So,
Sirius, would you like Joe Rogan to come on board?
Mm-hmm. Yep, certainly. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, Neil.
What channel will you put Neil? What channel will you put Joe Rogan on? We'll put him on Neil Young Radio. Yeah, you can have that channel. Yeah, sure, whatever, sure. Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Because then when you start Google newsing, like, oh, what's going on with this Neil Young thing? SiriusXM announces Neil Young Radio. Boom.
Perfect.
I felt proud at that moment. I'm like, way to stay up. You know what I mean? Like, way to that. People have co-opted the term woke. Woke used to just be like, stay woke, like just be aware. Like that used to be what woke meant, you know. That was before, honestly, that was before white people stole the term woke.
It was. For us, it was like, they trying to do this, stay woke, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. They're trying to take woke from us, stay woke. Yeah, I know. But like SiriusXM, they stayed woke on that. Not like woke in like the political way, but like they stayed woke in the sense that they were like, they saw it. They were aware. They knew what was coming.
Yeah. How do we get our bucks?
Exactly. Yeah. SiriusXM sat there like Denzel. They go, okay, everybody's talking about Spotify and Apple Music right now. SiriusXM's from around the way. We're leaving with something. We're leaving with something.
Load up that playlist.
Yeah, exactly. Can we get Joe Rogan? No. Let's get Neil. Fuck it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's going on there. No more Neil Young on Spotify. So everybody that pretends that they used to listen to Neil Young on Spotify is going to pretend to be upset for a while.
It's a bummer. I was searching this morning and I go,
I mean, I'll tell Joe, in the short term, you're going to have way more people listening to Neil Young and way more people listening to Joe Rogan's show. So that's how this results. That's what happens.
Win-win.
It is. It really is. Speaking of win-win, did you hear what DJ Academics revealed on his podcast?
No.
Oh, my God. Wait till you hear this. Well, first of all, Kanye did an interview where he mentioned this about Ray J's laptop.
You know, how you going to bring me to SNL and kiss the dude you dating right in front of me? And everybody's like, oh, that's cool. After I went and got the laptop from Ray J myself that night, right? And then got on a red eye. I met this man at the airport, then got on a red eye, came back, delivered it to her at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then I gave it to her, and she cried when she saw it. You know why she cried when she seen that laptop? Because it represents how much she's been used.
So Kanye's mad because when Kim did SNL, you know, she kissed Pete Davidson on the lips in that Aladdin sketch. Remember when they started dating and that picture was everywhere? Mm-hmm. Kanye's mad because that day he took a red eye because there was reportedly going to be another Kim Kardashian Ray J sex tape leaked. And he went to Ray J and he bought the laptop that the tape was on. He bought it off Ray J and he gave Kim the laptop. As if,
How that?
well, yeah, because once you have the original laptop, all copies will cease to exist. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how that works.
Can you imagine that phone? Like, I feel like Ray J was taking advantage of Kanye in a mentally vulnerable state. I feel like his intellect was in a vulnerable position, and Kanye went, "All right, you got to sell me the laptop." And Ray J was like, "What?" And he was like, "Sell me the laptop so I know. Don't just tell me you won't do it. I'm going to buy that laptop off you." And Ray J's like, "Okay." And Kanye's like, "I'm going to get on a red eye right now. I'm going to fly to LA because I'm in New York.
Not sell it to TMZ.
Don't sell that laptop to TMZ." They were like, "Okay, I won't, Kanye. And I'm going to come. I'm going to pay you $100,000 for that laptop." Okay. Like, it's, yeah. Now it's not, that's the original, right? It's on the original's on the laptop, right?
It was recorded on the laptop. Yes.
Yeah. Good. So anything else will be a copy of a copy of a copy. And it's like, yeah, that definitely, in digital, that definitely still holds up. Every copy of a copy is degenerated. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so hard to make copies of digital stuff. You know?
Impossible. Especially when you have the original. When you own the original, yeah. Mr. Hideous says Kanye is such a mark. Oh no, he's just in love. He's in love.
Reminds me of when my ex asked me to delete all of our sex videos and nudes, and I gave her my phone and I had her delete it, and I said, "It's all gone. There you go. No more copies."
Yeah,
there were copies.
Here's my phone. Take it. You have the phone. How else could we have it?
It's gone.
Yeah. I love it. So while all that's going on, this is what DJ Academics revealed on his podcast, like this morning or yesterday or whatever. Let me hit play on this for you.
Crazy with himself. Yo, a nigga told me, this is real talk. Kanye's been telling anybody within an earshot of himself how he's trying to spread a rumor that Pete Davidson has AIDS. I'm telling you, this is a fact.
Oh my gosh.
I've heard this from 8 people. He's telling everybody.
So this became a news story now because DJ Academic said it on his podcast that Kanye West is telling everybody that Pete Davidson has AIDS. Academic said he heard it from 8 people. They wouldn't lie to him. This is the rumor that Kanye West is spreading now, that Pete Davidson has AIDS. Now look, I don't want to speak for anybody else's relationship, but he's like dating Julia Fox from Uncut Gems, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's his muse, he said, right? He's like making her wear a weird S&M mask everywhere.
The rebound.
Yeah. If you're Julia Fox, your boyfriend is running around talking about buying laptops from Ray J and that his ex's new boyfriend has AIDS, I feel like most of us couldn't get away with that. I feel like the current girlfriend would be like, "I think you're too invested still in your ex." A little bit.
Like, I think you're the problem here.
I think maybe. It's possible.
But it's Kanye, though.
It's Kanye. All he's got to do is put out some fire and he'll be all right.
Yeah, Julia Fox is going to be like, "Damn, son."
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, she's like, "Kanye, I got to talk to you about this. I'm here." DJ Academic said some crazy stuff about... Listen to this beat I just made, Julia. Listen to this beat. Now, would you wear this... Would you wear these leather pants on your head, please? It's the new trend in fashion. Everyone's going to be doing it. I have the puffiest jacket you've ever seen in your life. All right, Kanye, I'll do it. I'll do it. That Corey dude questions, Pete Davidson doesn't have AIDS? I'm not his doctor. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. But I do think it's funny that less than 10 years ago, Pete Davidson was on the O&A after show with me, talking about the time he drove Mike Boschetti home to Staten Island. And just a few years later, there's a TMZ story that Kanye West is telling his friends that he has AIDS. Like, that's an insane trajectory.
What a growth. That is growth.
Do you think this would have happened to Dan Soder if Dan Soder had gotten SNL? Remember Dan Soder auditioned for SNL and didn't get it, and then Pete Davidson did, and it was very controversial at the time. Do you think Dan Soder would have ended up with Kim Kardashian and Kanye would have said that Dan Soder had AIDS?
Dan's a good-looking guy,
That,
you know?
That big, tall motherfucker's got AIDS. Yeah, maybe.
It's like, you read a story like this where it's like, anyone could have made it up, but like, you hear it and you go, no, Kanye is going around telling people.
Right, you're like, that seems like something like DJ Academics might have just said for the buzz, like just to get people talking, but also doesn't feel out of character.
No, it feels very in character.
Yeah, like actually par for the course. Like,
Yeah.
like actually exactly the way you think this thing is going to go.
I mean, if he heard from 8 people, Kanye's definitely telling more than 8 people. Probably told like hundreds by now.
And how you get 8 people to lie? How do you get 8 people to tell the same lie? When you're a journalist, I think you have to have like maybe 2, 3 sources. 8 sources, it's irrefutable at that point. If you've got 8 sources, if you've actually
anything.
Yes. If you've actually got 8 sources, for real, that feels irrefutable to me. So I do choose to believe this to be true. I do. I do choose to believe this to be true. And for Pete Davidson's sake, I hope that this is true because that's a pretty badass thing.
Yeah.
Like
he's fucking his ex.
Like imagine
and
getting to have sex with Kim Kardashian and Kanye West is spreading nasty rumors about you. Like that's really making an impact.
Pete Davidson's living in his mind.
Rent free.
Rent
free. Not even rent controlled. Like, I mean, for nothing. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's also like
badass.
It's also like, man, you're Kanye West, dude. You don't need to be jealous of Pete Davidson. You know, like, shouldn't it be like, be the bigger man, be the cool guy? Like, people are like
lowering himself. Not that Pete Davidson's like a low, like
no, but he's Kanye. Like it should, like people should be like, oh, like, what do you think of Pete Davidson with your ex? And he'd be like, I'm fucking Kanye West. Okay, I'm Ye. I am Ye.
I moved on. I got Julia Fox right now.
Yeah, I don't even remember Kanye West. I mean, Kim Kardashian. Maybe Kanye West too. He probably doesn't remember Kanye West anymore. I don't think Ye remembers Kanye West at all. No, it should be like Ja Rule in Can I Get It? And if not, then guess what? I still fucked you. That should be Kanye's like whole thing. He's Kanye. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, enjoy Pete Davidson. I'll still be Kanye. And instead, man, he's taking red eyes to buy laptops and telling people that Pete Davidson's got AIDS. That's and the taking a red eye to buy a laptop because you think that's the original tape and then you can't make copies. That's not even hearsay. That's literally Kanye saying it. Like, I just heard him say it.
What do you mean there's more?
How? How, Sway? How, Sway?
He's going to go around the country and just buy all the other copies.
Yeah. Give me your laptop, too. He put it on this DVD. I got the DVD, though, so it should be fine. It should be okay.
and he's like rapping about him. Like, Pete Davidson's got to be pretty pumped about that.
It's got to be amazing. Oh, yeah. Didn't he say something? Da-da-da-da-da, just so I could beat Pete Davidson's ass? I'd be like, yeah.
That's awesome.
I'd be banging that in my house.
Of course.
You'd see me driving down the
just
streets.
So I could kick Sam Roberts' ass.
Oh, my God. Dude, I flipped out when Kevin Pollak said he didn't like me, okay? I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. When Guy Fieri did a prank to me, I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to run with this for years. This is fantastic. If Kanye West said he was going to beat my ass in a song, I mean, I would play it everywhere. I would make people play it when I walked into a room. It would be the intro of every show that I did.
Run that back, Jess. Run that back.
I would have it, yeah. I'd put it on my stream deck and just bring it with me everywhere. It'd be like, what? What? Hey, Jess.
Have it be part of the intro.
Yeah. Anytime there was any sort of dead space anywhere in my life, on a show, off a show. I'm talking to my parents at dinner. So what else is new? Kanye West wants to beat my ass. Yeah, we know, Sam. We heard.
Here, let me play it for you.
Yeah. Boom. Anybody got something I can plug this stream deck into? Yeah, I'd be real pumped. I'd be real excited. Except if I'm Julia Fox. Then I'd be like, you're obsessed.
She's the fourth character in this.
I know. Yeah, she's the
accessory.
She thinks that like she's a main character, but she's like a single act character. Like at the end of the movie, you're like, oh yeah, she was good in this. Like you didn't. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, she was good in that.
No, this is the Pete, Kim, and Kanye show.
Yeah, yeah. Man, we accomplished a lot. I got more on my list, but it'll have to wait. I mean, talk about celebrity beefs. Did you see what Ezra Miller did? You know Ezra Miller, the Flash?
Mm-hmm.
He said specifically the Beulahville, North Carolina section of the KKK. He went on his Instagram and said he was going to kill them. Yes. Yes. It's already been an hour. He said, yes. He said, kill yourself. And if you don't, I'll just go ahead and kill you. He said that to specifically Beulahville, North Carolina. Nobody knows. Nobody knows why. But they're like, Ezra, we stand. I mean, they. I said he. I mean, they. I don't mean to mislabel anybody. They said that.
Something must have happened there.
Something had to have happened because they are pissed and they are going to kill KKK members. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm here for it. Okay? I am here for it.
Make a movie out of it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You know how we do things here on Sam Roberts Now. Super chats. Every super chat will get acknowledged here on the show. You feel like you have something that you need to get off your chest that needs to be acknowledged here on Sam Roberts Now. Go ahead. Super chat it in. Let's go up to the top. That Corey dude. You stay out of my way or you'll pay. Listen to what I say. Or we could just go down by the hay. By the bay, maybe rolling some hay. What do you say? Billy Madison. I mean, Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. Love Happy Gilmore. Shooter McGavin. Okay, JD Straight Shot. I'm assuming. Oh, I don't know who this. Maybe we could both do this one. F, Mary, Kill. Green M&M, Blue Dress, Minnie Mouse, or Neil Young. Well, I'll tell you right now. The Democrats have made it impossible to want to F the green M&M, okay? Like, the woke left has made it impossible. She's just not sexual anymore. So definitely kill the green M&M. I guess I'm going to F Neil Young because everybody else is goddamn Spotify and marry Minnie Mouse. What do you think, Hot Dog?
I think I'll go the same.
Okay.
Minnie Mouse seems like a nice spouse.
What are you spitting? What bars? Bars. Mike Oxlong says, how about yours? I'm not 100% sure. Neil wants Canadian truckers to not play his music. Yeah. Man, the news is not talking about that Canadian truck protest, are they?
I haven't even heard of it.
Bro, there's thousands of trucks in Canada. It's the biggest truck convoy ever. And they're protesting, I think, mask mandates in Canada, and they're going all the way up the country. And, like, it does feel like a lot of outlets are like, yeah, we're not talking about that. Don't worry about that. But it's very, very interesting. Look it up online. I've been following it a little bit. Not enough to actually talk about it with any sort of brain, but I'm aware of it. Not Sam Lehman. No Prima Volta this week? What the hell am I supposed to do with this box of Whitmans? No, I know. Put it up your mom's box. Yeah, Prima Volta should be back next week. Timing is timing. Lots of content out there. I've been doing wrestling podcasts all week, but should be back next week. In the meantime, though, there is new content going up. You probably might have noticed. I've been putting up parts of these Sam Roberts Now shows on the official Not Sam channel. Not every part of every show, but like every show will have one or two videos coming off. Like I just posted the video of the Tonight Show, the analysis of Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton. So that went up as a separate video. So there'll be a video or two from tonight's broadcast that goes up, but also Prima Volta and also the show live. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your alerts are turned on. And I see a lot of you have not yet hit that like button. That's fucked. Hit the like button.
That's how we eat, fam.
Yeah.
That's how we eat.
We're trying to eat here. Hit the like button. JD Straight Shot says, back in my day, you didn't need a Joe Rogan. You had a friend with an older brother smoking pot in their parents' basement telling you how the Aztecs invented cell phones. Yeah, that is, Joe Rogan has taken the place of that. Now it's like the older brother says, you know what I heard on Rogan? And the kids go, yeah, I do. I heard it too. Mike D. Last year, Neil sold 50% of his publishing. The other 50% is saying, no, we're staying on Spotify. Neil, now cease and desist your crappy blog. Thanks. Yeah, blogging is costing this guy money. I wonder who owns that other 50% that's sitting there going like, God damn it, Neil, what are you doing? What are you doing? What do you think's going to happen here? You're costing both of us money. Greg Schmidt says, I was a bit disappointed with Sirius. It's around the year anniversary of Hot Dog's retirement from not working there, and no mention, not even a bean feast. You would have thought they would have remembered. They would have thought they had thrown a bean feast, right?
Or at least Hot Dog Radio for the weekend, you know?
Well, they gave it to Neil Young.
Yeah, it's taken.
Yeah, I think they were going to do Hot Dog Radio, but then the Neil Young thing happened, and you get it.
I got bumped.
You got bumped. I'd rather have Hot Dog Radio than breathe. Well, all right, guys. We appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're going to be taking a look at everything going on with Ezra Miller and the KKK. If he does kill any KKK members, we'll be back on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern to tell you all about it. In the meantime, I'm going to cheers with you later. Have a good one, everybody.